What is up, everybody? Welcome to SportsShack. Hope you all ready to feast. I know there's been a lot going on in the sports world, so hope you guys came. With an appetite because I know we got a lot to talk about. So I got to talk about Ovechkin's record-breaking goal. What's been going on in the MLB, the NBA playoffs. A lot of shockers going on in there, and the NFL world because, of course, Aaron Rodgers won't shut up his mouth. Hopefully, we don't talk about him too much on here, like ESPN does. Tell you, ESPN loves Aaron Rodgers, but
They
we'll
love
get
all
to
the
that in a
same
bit.
topics.
What?
They love all the same topics every single episode, every single day.
What? First take?
Yeah.
Mm. But all right. Dennis, how you feeling? How you feeling this morning? I know we just went to the Met game last night, me and you. What a great time. Thank you so much for coming.
Head cold. Doing good. So my voice probably sounds different. Probably sounds a lot deeper. Throat's been killing me lately. Yeah. Hanging out. Busy with grad school. Watching MLB Network. Randy Rosarania. Mama, that goes that man. And Cal Raleigh has been on fire. The catcher for the Mariners. That's cool. Just hanging out, man. It was good to eat some soft serve ice cream last night. Haven't had that in a long time. Big fan. Chicken tenders were good, but
What?
I got to say something here.
Let me hear it.
City Field's concessions overrated.
Really?
Yeah, those chicken tenders were not good. Those were not $16 chicken tenders. Those were about $5 chicken tenders. Sports Shack, which we got. I think I was the one who proposed this name, right?
What's
Or was
that?
it you? Proposed the name Sports Shack. I think it was me.
I think it was you. Yeah.
And I got that because when we were kids and we played Bobcat football, there was the snack shack at where we used to play football.
Yes.
I feel like those chicken tenders were better than the ones we had last night. I
It's
didn't think
funny
they
you
were
say that because I was driving past West with my mom,
good. Uh-huh.
and yeah, so obviously they got a new turf field. They have track in it too. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it. I've driven past it.
It's
It's
crazy.
unbelievable.
Makes me feel
But
old.
real quick, too, the other thing, I know why the Mets are able to afford Juan Soto. No paper towels in the bathroom. And the amount of fries we got in the chicken tender basket. I wasn't impressed.
I got to see what else to get tonight. I can't really get too much because it's Lent,
Yeah, that's the tough part.
I got to figure out what to get. I did had a wing at like 12:01. I'm not gonna get too crazy about that. But I was like, you know what? I'll save these for because the Wingstop was taking forever, and that's a whole nother topic. It's a whole nother
It did
topic.
take forever
A
in a day.
Wingstop experience last night, but we're not going to shame on them like those people did last night.
Yeah, those kids were jerks. What was
They were
that
kids.
about?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
They
But
weren't. They weren't that kids. They were what, 20?
no, yeah, they're like 21,
Come
20,
on.
20, 21. Either way, but
Give me a break. They weren't raised right. That's what that is. That's
exactly.
what that was. They weren't raised right.
My father,
That's my
no, my
parents.
father and my family
Forget it.
taught me respect,
Yeah,
professionalism.
certainly.
I know one
In
thing
my
is for sure.
household, that would have been a nice little right upside the head.
One thing is for sure is I don't think they're gonna give a Yelp review. But then again, who looks at Yelp?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, whatever. Regardless, I was just that's.
But
I usually,
right,
I usually go to the Shake Shack at City Field,
right, same. So I go to.
and I gotta start exploring other options because why not? Why not?
Why not?
And I don't know what I want. I know they have sausage and peppers there. I love the smell of sausage and peppers. I can't eat peppers anymore since
People love getting the sausages and peppers there.
since I've had my digestive problems a year ago. Can't do it.
Mm.
You know what? Maybe that's what we should do. When we go to games, we should do food reviews of the stadium food.
Yeah, we could broadcast it on here.
Yeah, and put it on social media and whatnot, and it could go viral. And then next thing you know, you're doing food reviews at games.
Exactly. Hopefully maybe get paid for it in the future too.
Ain't that something?
But I don't know. I thought it was just a regular chicken tenders and French fries.
Listen, people will hate on Yankee Stadium all they want. The Yankee Stadium chicken bucket. You can't get a chicken bucket anywhere else That's what makes Yankee Stadium so special.
Of course,
It's
because
the chicken bucket.
only Yankee
Only
Stadium.
Yankee Stadium
Only
will have
Yankee Stadium.
chicken wings
Okay.
in a bucket. That's still. I can't believe you said that. I don't even remember initially what you said. That set me off immediately.
I forgot it too. No, I'm like,
For those of you who don't know, I rooted for the Mets last night. I was wearing my Mike Piazza jersey. I hate Met fans. They're my least favorite. No,
what? No,
one of my
what?
least favorite sports fans.
This is new. That's news to me. I thought you said they
Really?
were tolerable. Or like
There's different tiers of Met fans,
tiers,
and
there's different tiers.
the
I hope I didn't.
tolerable Met fans I could hang out with, have a beer with, good, upstanding people. The obnoxious Met fans, I can't. I can't. I go from
See,
0 to 100
I don't know what
so
I don't know
fast.
what
I
tier I
go
was on
so
last night.
I could go well because you're Brandon. You have more leeway. But if it was like Cooper or like some of our other friends or like Mikey or
Right.
even some of like my friends from my other fantasy league or like my buddy Joe, who are like more obnoxious Met fans, even though I'm friends with them, you would not believe how fast got rings would come out of my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know what I got to think of what I said because no, I said I actually set you off. I never set you
remember
off.
it.
I never. Wait,
I
hold on.
remember it.
That's the thing.
I remember it.
I never set you off. That's the thing. So I was hysterical. Like I was. You kept going too. I'm like, yo. I don't know what I did. Some switch I flicked. I'm like, wow. I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit. I flipped. Wait, what was it?
Juan Soto came up to bat and everybody started clapping, even though he's kind of been underwhelming earlier in the game. They booed him earlier in the game, by the way. I just want everybody to know that. That's on the record. And then they started clapping for him in the 8th inning. So they're like, "Hey, come on, let's rally him. Let's rally our guy, huh?
Damn, that's
When
right.
you're a Met, you're still a Met. You're still our guy. We love him. That's our guy. That's Juan Soto. Stop. So I said, so you had said something
Right.
about like that's the thing about being a Met fan. You said something along those lines, and it instantly just like seething with rage.
Yes, that is true. You were. Yep. Yeah. The flames were coming out. I saw it, even though it was dark out, but it was lights. But I saw the flames. I saw the flames come out of you.
Yeah, it was the rest of the game. Even when we were leaving, I was getting a little chippy there. And I'm sorry for all my voice cracks, guys. Like I said, I've had a sore throat lately. But
You are completely fine.
yeah, that.
But yeah, no, that sets you off. No, Cooper. No, like I said, I feel like I do have more leeway. But if it was like Cooper, no, because like we know Cooper. He's Cooper.
So, yeah, he is an unapologetically obnoxious sports fan. In fact, I think he'd be offended if I didn't say he was an obnoxious sports fan. He takes pride in it, and I respect that.
He does. Yeah, he does. He does.
And other friends of ours are like that too.
Right. But, yeah. I know my limits. I know my. I like to think I do, especially when I'm with you. When I'm with you, I try my best not to like be, because like, you know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of how to say it. Because like I said, I don't want to cause any trouble issues when I'm with you. It's like, I don't want to.
You're an easygoing guy.
Yeah, no, you are. No, I'm like, I just don't. I don't want to be like a problem. I don't want to give problematic problems out. Like, I guess with any of my friends. No, Sadie. But no, I don't know. Last night there were some people just like pissing. A lot of Yankee jerseys. I don't understand it.
I hate that.
It's not good.
I hate that. This is another thing. If we wanted to put in a breakout clip, I hate that. If you go to a game, wear either a no jersey or what I consider to be a relevant jersey. Relevant jersey? And so what I mean, a relevant jersey is Cardinals and Mets are playing last night.
Right.
So if you wore a Cardinals jersey, you're good. You wear a Mets jersey, you're good. If you showed up with a Rockies Nolan Arenado jersey, you're fine. If you showed up with a New York Yankees Juan Soto jersey, you ready for this? You're fine. I think any heckling is a disservice to that person because they're a Juan Soto fan. That's my interpretation of it. If you show up wearing an Aaron Judge jersey, I hate you. I hope nothing but bad things happen to you and yours. I'm a Yankees fan, and I'm saying the reason why I say that is because you're making it about you. I hate that. I hate that. I can't stand it. You know how I am. I love studying the culture of fan bases. And by the way, Another hot take, because I know most of our listeners and viewers are New Yorkers. I think New York sports fans might be the biggest loser boys of sports fans. The F. Trey Young chants need to stop. They need to stop.
Yeah,
That
don't want to be
actually pissed me off, and here's why. The loser mentality of New York sports fans can never be overshadowed. Mets fans in particular. A lot of F the Yankees chants, too. Don't see that at Yankee Stadium when the Mets aren't playing. You don't see that. The Islanders, when the Rangers lose, a lot of times, I don't know if they still do it, celebrate it. I don't like that. I don't like that. Because the Rangers aren't doing that for you.
They
Grow up.
they do.
They do. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the Rangers.
Like the players.
Because the Islanders, they say it over the loudspeaker, or at least they used to, when the Rangers would lose. Ultimate loser mentality. Like, this is why you guys suck. Rangers, they don't do that. The fans might, but the organization of the Islanders is a loser organization because of that.
Right.
The fan base are also losers. The Met fan base are losers.
Wow.
But the F. Trey Young's chance, guys, stop it in New York. Stop. Stop. Move on. Jalen Brunson's better. Get over it. Just stop.
It was kind of random last night. I'm not gonna lie. I did not think at Mets Willis Point I was going to be chanting F. Trey Young.
This is why the Knicks don't win.
And I'm just like a average. I'll admit it on the air. I'm a average Knicks fan. But obviously I know about like the Trey Young stuff. Like I know about that, so it's like Yeah. But no, a lot of weird random jerseys. Like I saw a Corey Davis Jets jersey at the game last night. What did that have to do with anything? In my opinion, especially Corey Davis at all jerseys, though he was below average at best.
It's a true fan.
Maybe average, because like when he was on point, he was an average receiver. Like he would make great contested catches, couldn't stay healthy. What annoyed me is that he retired, and then the Jets gave him an opportunity, and then he came back. He was trying to come back, and he's like, "Oh no, but not for the Jets." Like, come on, guy, that's not how things work. But another topic. But I hope he's doing well though. Hope what he retired for in the first place was important. Point I'm trying to, and then I remember we went to the Islanders Ovechkin game. I saw a Colts Peyton Manning jersey. What are the odds I see that? I'm just saying. So like a lot of weird random jerseys now. My take on the jersey thing with the Yankees thing is, I don't know. There was actually a Yankee fan behind us. She's a sweet lady. The two ladies, Spanish ladies who sitting next to us. Very sweet woman. Very sweet people.
They were Spanish? I thought they were Asian. Like Filipino. Huh.
Maybe. But either way.
Actually, if they're Filipino, they could be Spanish if we want to go into like hundreds of years of background. But continue.
You are a history guy. So,
yeah.
But either way, like one of the ladies, Yankee fan. Because she said, I heard it say traitor, and I turned around. I was like, but like she was cool with it. Like, no, she was cool. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna harp on that the rest of the game. Like, oh my god, this lady called Soto a traitor. Like, no, like she was actually. The people were sitting with there. They were funny. They were cool. But what was I gonna say? I remember there were kids walking around at the end of the game. There's like a lot of Yankees jerseys. Like, I wouldn't heckle kids because, like, you know how I feel on that. You don't want to give them. It's not weird. It's cruel. It's mean. A little bit weird, I guess. But it's mean. It's cruel. Like, don't talk shit to kids. Talk like you're a grown ass man or person. It's true. Like, I'm not gonna want to give that traumatic experience that I've had with other fan bases in the past. Like, I've had bad moments with Yankee fans as a kid. Rangers more now as because I've been introduced to the rivalry last year. You with me? Giants. Don't get me started. I could write a whole essay. I could write a whole book on my traumatic experiences with the Giants, and I like the Giants. People think I hate the Giants. People think I hate the Giants. I hate the fans. If anything, I don't hate the players. I love Justin Tuck. I loved Mario Manningham. Love Victor Cruz. Loved Eli Manning. Like, if I get an opportunity, Asiu Manura, Aaron Ross, Corey Webster. I can go on forever, baby. But like, you know what I mean? So like, no, like, but I don't know. It does irk me though, because I see the judge in it, and it's like, but I don't know. At the end of the day, is it gonna impact my taxes? No.
Yeah, you and Uncle Sam seem to be going at it today, huh?
Well,
I'll let you just handle that on your own time. I don't want to.
But either way,
though, give you that. But
so I don't know when it comes to Yankee. Just know if we go to a game of Cooper, he's gonna do it. He's
And
gonna
I'm
wear
gonna
it.
guess what? I'm gonna have zero respect for him when we leave. I'm gonna look at him as subhuman. I look at people who do that as subhuman. Kids that do that, again, like my I do also have like for that, I do judge the parents. I was telling you that yesterday.
Right.
Because I hold the parents to that standard of come on,
Right.
what are we doing here? You can't buy a children's T-shirt for $30, and I guess actually in this economy, maybe not. But I do have like a little exception to my rule. If you're a team, like a little league team, like when you're in a little league team, I
Right.
said to you yesterday,
You did say to me
like I was like the
yesterday.
D-backs, I was the Nationals, like random teams. Because when you're a little league, they just get it licensed. And if you're like a team, so everybody knows who everybody is, so you all wear your D-backs jersey or your Nationals jersey or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
That I'm okay with.
Right. That's understandable. Oh my
That,
god.
yeah, that's fine.
I can
If
imagine.
I was like your parents failed you because of that, like that's insane behavior. That's psycho behavior. Like don't get me wrong. And I'm already kind of on the edge to begin with. But aside from that, like yeah, I certainly would internally in my mind be like, I don't like those parents.
Right, because that says a lot about the parents.
Yeah. I do think the Corey Davis jersey, that gets a pass for me. You're supporting the New York team. That's a home jersey, in my opinion.
Yeah, hey, screw it. No, I
I feel like I should write a book about culture, sports fandom culture, and my weird rules and standards.
You could.
Thou shalt not wear a non-relevant jersey in my presence.
That's definitely.
And I don't listen. People are like, "Is Dennis like a hardo just screaming at people?" No, I internalized those kinds of people.
Wait,
if I had to interact with them, I wouldn't look at them. I would look through them. You know what I'm talking about? Like a little seething with rage kind of a thing.
I can see it right now. I can see it right through you. I can see it.
I'm trying to get the contempt up.
Right.
I can't really build it up. I'm in a good mood.
I think that's good. No, hey, I mean, I think you can manage both, but no,
10 a.m. sodas get me in a good mood.
But the Colts Peyton Manning though at an Islanders game, I did not expect that. Like if I
odd.
had to put money on that, I would not expect. Like if I had to see Colts Peyton Manning at UBS in Belmont, New York, no, definitely random. Washington, New York, what does that do? I don't know. It's just weird.
Because it's not football, I'm just kind of indifferent on it. That doesn't count either. If it's a non-active sport jersey, like I just think it's odd, but that doesn't like piss me off.
Right.
Now, if you showed up wearing like a Brenton Doyle jersey last night, I'm about to be flipping out.
But when I go to Yankee Stadium now, I'm not going to wear it. Maybe occasionally I'll wear it. Like I still have it. I'm not throwing it out. Like I said, I didn't like I said, I'm a diehard Mets fan, but I'm also a big baseball. I'm a diehard baseball fan as well. So I'll go to any baseball game. When it comes to going to Yankee Stadium though, I like wearing the Babe Ruth, like I've told you, because I like going undercover. I don't like you went undercover last night. You don't want people. You don't want that attention.
I'm rooting for that team today. Yeah.
You don't want that attention. Well, for me, no, but I just don't want. Well, in my case.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on now. So you root against the Yankees, but you wear a Yankees jersey.
Like I said, I'm going incognito. I'm going undercover.
My respect for you did just plummet. I don't root against the Mets when I'm wearing a Mets jersey.
Listen,
aside from actually, that's not true. When we saw the Oakland A's, I was rooting for the Oakland A's a little bit.
The Oakland A's
last year.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, Oakland.
Yeah, it was the last time. It was the only time I'm ever going to see the Oakland A's in person. Kind of transcends.
But continue.
So you root against the Yankees wearing a Babe Ruth jersey? That's weird, man.
Listen, like I said,
if they're playing the Mets, then I would understand it. But like Yankees Rays, F the Yankees, you're wearing a Babe Ruth jersey? That is very weird. Now I get why your friends criticize you. I used to not get it. Now I understand it. Because like one of our buddies who you say criticized you, big Yankee fan, our buddy Sean. He said to me last night, "How as a Yankee fan, how are you okay with wearing this?" And it was a selfie of me wearing my jacket, my little white Under Armour, and my Mets jersey.
Right.
And I said, "It's like the Yankees aren't cutting me a check, brother. Like I don't care. I'm rooting for the Mets today. I'm a baseball fan first. I always say that. Baseball fan.
He does that. He comes to Yankee Stadium and Yankee stuff sometimes. I've seen it. He came to Yankee.
You mean Citi Field in the Yankee stuff?
Yes.
Huh? Then my respect for him is dropped.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, listen. Like I said, like I said, I wear it for just go undercover. I don't want that attention. I don't want to cause any problems or scenes with us. I like to not get beer dumped on me, and I like to not be in the Yankee Stadium jail that they got downstairs, getting a haircut by that kid.
That's
Remember we
funny.
saw getting a haircut.
Yeah.
Imagine he's good. He's there. That
3
actually be
rows
funny.
ahead of us. That was nuts.
That'd be funny. So that's why I wear. But I have two baseball jet jerseys. One of Sauce Gardner. I don't know if I ever showed you. You know what? I'll
Yeah.
show real quick. Let me show you.
I'll fill the air in the meantime. As Brandon gets his Jets jersey, I do think another thing with the jersey rule.
Here's one.
Oh,
See, Jets right here, and then there's baseball. Huh? On the back. Look at that. It's beautiful.
that's actually a sick jersey.
Tell me that's not sick. So when I go to Yankee Stadium now, this is what I wear. It's baseball. It's New York. You can't go any wrong with that. That's one of them. And I think you've seen my sauce jersey. I was supposed to wear it when I was coming to the Yankees Astros game with you. But of course, life happens, and well, that's what happens when you break a foot. You miss out. But that's what I wear. So like I said, that's why when I go undercover, listen, like I said, when I hear, you know what grinds my gears? When I'm in the bleacher section and it's like dun 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 dun, dun and then they're ending like Mets suck. You're playing the Red Sox.
Hate it.
You're playing the Red Sox. That sets me off. Like no.
Yeah.
Like next time, if I'm in the bleachers and I hear it, I'm gonna scream out loud. I'm gonna say it, whether you're with me or nobody's with me. I'm gonna say it.
I will stand up. I will stand up and say, as a lifelong Yankee fan, a Hideki Matsui enthusiast, when Jason Giambi was on the team I was watching, I remember the first game I remember watching as a kid was the Jabba Chamberlain fly game. It was the first game I really remember watching.
I know that game. Yeah, I know the game you're talking about.
Sitting on the floor of my living room, looking up at the TV, dad behind me on the couch, watching that game, eating candy. I'll never forget it. It's hell of a night. And it was like a Halloween party night or something like that in my neighborhood. Because it was like before Halloween, but like, like they always had like the school, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I would say, gladly, you leave that to the Mets. We have no reason to be booing them. We're better than them. They're not like us. They're the different. They're them. They're the undesirables.
I don't know about
over
that.
there.
They're becoming that. They've always been that.
They're filth.
They've always been that. Now they're becoming
dirty.
That. It's a Mets town now. That's
such a stupid thing too. It's a Mets town. It's a Mets town. They got Juan Soto. Oh, the Yankees are just like absolutely destroying everybody this season. If the Mets started off with the torpedo bats and had that series against the Brewers instead of Yankees, what would people say? Nothing, because it's a Yankees town. It's not a Yankees town. It's a Yankees sport. It's a Yankees world. They're America's team. The New York Yankees are America's team.
Really?
They are.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, the Cowboys are America's team thing is a stupid Southern good old boy football culture that needs to stop too.
I think the Yankees are becoming the Cowboys of baseball.
Because they haven't won in a while? No, the Yankees are America's team, and here's why. Go anywhere in the world with a Yankees hat, and I'll tell you exactly where you're from. Wear a Cowboys hat, and it's just a star. You think of American sports, and the first team you will always think of in the world is the New York Yankees.
The Mets?
No, you won't. You'll think of the New York Yankees.
Yankees and Mets.
No, you'll think of the New York Yankees.
And the Mets.
No, the New York Yankees.
All right.
Because I was in airports in Spain, in Germany, in Amsterdam, and I saw Yankees hats. I'm not making that up. I'm not Amsterdam.
I believe
Amsterdam,
it. I believe it.
Amsterdam.
With the famous, infamous photo. Yeah. I love that photo.
That's a funny photo.
But no, all right. But listen,
I was in Germany.
But listen, like I said, but just all I'm going to say is, if when I hear that, I will the bleachers. I don't care if I'm in the bleachers. I will say like, hey, I didn't know the Mets were in town. I know the Mets were red and gray. I didn't know the Mets were here. All right. And then
I'll gladly say it too.
It's going to keep not. I don't want you to catch any heat.
I will. Me. I'll cut a promo, brother. I don't care. Like that was like when we went to the Mets and Dodgers game, and I was starting one person "Let's Go Dodger" chants and full Dodger gear, and my buddy who's with me, he's like, dude, sit down. Someone's gonna, say something to you. And do you remember what I said? And I said it loud. I said it loud. They're Met fans. What are they gonna do?
Oh, oh God. Well, honestly, no, I don't think
Yeah.
I wasn't.
And
I
what,
don't. I
what
was
did the Met fans do? Not even one boo. Yeah.
some boot. Yeah, because I don't know. We don't let it. We don't. I guess we don't let it go as much. We don't.
Actually, that's true. I did get booed after, but not booed after I said that line.
But no, I don't think I would wear. I don't know. I'm gonna do it one day. I just hope you know it. But that's why I have my Jet jersey.
Yeah.
But no, like either way, last night, fun time. We get another game soon. Let me know if it's Yankees or Mets. That will come. I won't wear a Soto jersey. But speaking of Juan Soto, the stretch he's been having, I know. Look, all I got to say about this, um, we have him for 15 years. We have him for a while. Lindor, when we got him, he struggled in his first year. It took a while for him to it took definitely a while for him to get in the groove. I know they said he started getting boos around the same time, the 20th game, 25th by Citi Field, and the Mets faithful. You know, like I'm not jumping the gun right away. It's only been like what 20, like the 12-7. This is going to be the 20th game. I feel like let's hold the brakes. Let's be careful. Like let's relax. It's only been 20 games, and he's been decent. He's been all right. I know this is just a new team. I'm not going to panic just yet. It's not looking good so far, but it's all right. But all I'm saying about is I'm not panicking yet. There will be times when I will. It's also cold out. It's also really cold. Some players don't play good in the cold. I like that. So that's my take on the Soto thing. I'm not freaking out. I'm not worrying. The body language, though, is a little concerning. I know Salicata said on Geico Sports Night last night, which I agree. So I definitely like that. He's been on base a lot. To start off the season, he got on base almost every game. He's been producing for them. So I think it's definitely, so like I said, I'm not too concerned or too overwhelmed or worried. But
Yeah.
like I said, all I'm saying is like this is just the start. Mike Piazza didn't do good right away. He wasn't like fans were booing him right away, and then next thing you know, Steve Phillips, GM of the Mets, and the offseason ended up signing to an extension. So all I'm saying is it takes time for players to settle in, to get in a groove. It happened, especially when it comes to Mets players. That's what happens. I mean, you could either be Jason Bay or Ike Davis, or you could be Lindor and Pete Alonso. So that's all in terms of like, from a rookie standpoint and then from a free agent or a trade acquisition, it takes time. So that's my take on the Juan Soto thing. And hopefully I'm going again to the game tonight. Hopefully I get my free Brandon Nimmo jersey. I got to talk to Cooper about that because I want to get there as early as I can. All I'm saying is it takes time. I'm not freaking out. I'm not worried. Am I going to get a Juan Soto jersey right now? No. Listen, he's going to be here for a while. I waited to get my Lindor jersey. It took a while for me to get that, until the end of the season, but which I loved wearing. It was great wearing that. I might wear it again tonight. I might. But anyway, like I said, I'm not panicking. I'm not worried yet. So when that moment comes, that moment will come. But for now, I just relax.
Yeah. I think you got to be patient. You know how I feel about people booing their own players. I think it's odd. Unless, of course, they do something off the field like that. Just like heinous. Then it's like a different story. But just because they're bad, I think that's odd. Now, for the Juan Soto thing, I guess it doesn't help that everywhere else he's been like, it's not like he's a guy who's like known to be a quote unquote slow starter. So I guess maybe that's why people are a little less patient. Especially
Right.
they're signing him. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's
Not
definitely.
nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. It was already a move that I saw some fans divided on because of that. So I could kind of, sort of, I don't know if I'd say agree with it or somewhat talk myself into it. But, we'll see. We'll see. Um, I think if it's by game 30, if he's still just pretty good, then I don't know.
Yeah, no.
It's not like he's been bad. He's
Right.
getting on base.
Exactly.
Let me see. Let me look up his stats because I actually don't have them in front of me. I should have got them sooner.
Okay.
All right. So he has in 68 at bats, 15 hits, 3 home runs, 221 batting average. That's not good for him. 14 runs, scored 7 RBIs, a stolen base, and an OPS plus of 125. That's actually a lot higher than I would have thought. That's very high. That doesn't seem right. Oh, that makes sense, actually. 7 of his 15 hits are extra base hits, so the OPS being that makes sense. High slugging.
Right.
But I mean, I get it. It's not like he has 3 home runs after 40 games.
Right.
I
Like
offhand I'll have to see.
he's been producing though. Like it's not like he's on like an
Yeah,
0-40 type stretch. You know?
yeah. I'm leaning towards agreeing with you. All right. Well, the lead home run hitter right now is Tyler Soderstrom from the Athletics, who have 9, which is unbelievable. Cal Raleigh has 8. Aaron Judge. Well, actually, I remember people saying that the air is different in Sacramento, that home runs should be expected. But Cal Raleigh has 8. Judge has 7. Jazz Chisholm has 6. I'm surprised. So, I mean, it's really not that bad for Juan Soto to have what he has.
Right, of course.
He is currently ranked, or tied, rather, for 56th in the league. All right. A lot of guys have 3. It's fine.
Right. But so like I agree with you. It's gotta just be patience, it's gotta take time and just relax, you know. Um, but nah, overall by the Mets, man, I don't feel like we don't give him enough credit. We used to a lot. We gotta talk about Pete Alonso, man.
He's good.
He's amazing. I was not really, tell me if I'm wrong. You can call me out on here if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I was not one of the people that say they need to let him go. I was saying they need to keep
Tell
him.
you what.
What?
I said no. No, you weren't. I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
They definitely should have kept him. I was saying all along, people talking about, oh, they got to trade him. He's no good. Like he's not doing anything. I mean, he's a homegrown. I've said it for a long time. Homegrown talent, great memories, and it's good. If the Mets weren't on their playoff run like they were last year, he definitely was going to be gone at the deadline. Set in stone. He was going to be traded. So they were as competitive as they were. The OMG, everything that was going on last year. They decided to keep him. People were calling the Mets. Like, hey, you still interested in trading him? Nope. And I'll never forget watching the Brewers game. I remember watching everybody talk about, I remember when he missed that fly ball. Brewers fans were heckling him, and Mets fans were talking to us. Me as a Met fan, talking to other Mets fans, and then you saw it as well for the group chats we're in. Everybody was ready to have him ship out, and then next thing you know, he hits the magical 3-run homer. I'm screaming in my house, going nuts. Right away, I could feel the whole perspective change with Pete Alonso within the Met fan base, around the MLB circle, and now people are like, no, he has to be a Met. I've been saying this the whole season. Thank you, but it's just amazing that stuff like that's magical, man. Especially the Mets got the last laugh like that against Rhys Hoskins, against the Brewers, because they played each other in the beginning of the season. Who would have thought? That's sports for you, man. But I'm glad they were able to get him on a deal like this now. On the 2-year, $54 million deal. He's making $30 million this year, which is a great amount of money. And he's been definitely living up to it, hitting over 350, scorching balls, home runs, getting hits, playing great defense. So honestly, like Vlad Guerrero just got the extension, 14 years for $500 million. Why don't the Mets just extend him right now? Call up Scott Boras. I'm not saying give him $500 million.
No,
If he's still going to command that, then come on. Because then at that point, it's just all about the money. But like I said, if I'm the Mets brass, just extend him now. What do you got to lose?
All right, so he's on a 1-year deal, right?
2, but it's an opt-out after this year.
For the sake of argument, we'll call it a 1, assuming he'll opt out, given how good he is so far. He's 30, but a late 30. He'll turn 31 on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Who thought?
Right.
And I'll give him 5 for 125. And the only reason why is, listen, a lot of people compare him to Chris Davis. I think that's completely unfair to Chris Davis. Chris Davis, they banned
Whoa.
they banned a medication that Chris Davis was using, and that's what led to his downfall. I mean, the guy couldn't
Comparing
see the
him to
freaking
Chris
ball.
Davis. Comparing him to Chris Davis, that's
Well,
crazy.
peak for peak, Chris Davis was better. Let's not make it.
Wait, whoa, huh?
Crush Davis from the Orioles, bro.
Yeah, I remember Chris Davis, but to say that
Crush
he was
Davis
better
is
than
one of the
Pete
best players
Alonso?
of the 21st
Whoa,
century
whoa,
when he
whoa,
was
whoa.
best.
No, he was
peak
great.
for peak, bro. Peak for peak. You're not going to sit here and tell me Crush Davis wasn't better. Automatic home run.
I'm gonna have
Automatic
to
home run.
say, no, he was great. He was.
In the pan. Flash in the pan. I'm not going to push back on that. Flash in the pan. But people comparing Pete, I'm seeing it from people that were not Yankee fans or Met fans on social media, on Reddit, on Twitter, on comment sections, that were comparing him to Chris Davis. And on MLB Network, people were saying that executives look at him like Chris Davis. I think that's completely unfair to Chris Davis. That's what I'm saying.
Wow, really? To me,
that's why Pete Alonso's not getting a lot of the money that he's being offered, was because people look at him as like the prototypical slugging first baseman. I don't know why that style of player, that Mark McGwire archetype, that was so important in the league from 1890 to 2010. Suddenly, It's like, you're a first baseman, you're replaceable, and if you don't hit home runs, you suck. But if you hit too many home runs, I'm going to hold you to a totally different, unrealistic standard. It's bizarre. That being said, I think him being compared to Chris Davis is unfair. I think that's going to hurt. I don't think he's going to be getting like too many great deals, regardless in the offseason, because nowadays the thinking is first base is pretty replaceable.
That's what a lot of people think. It's like how running back is replaceable in football. Right. I guess first baseman's becoming that position.
My counter to that would be Pete Alonso's a plus defender. Not great. He's not a great defensive first baseman. He's not Paul Goldschmidt or Keith Hernandez here. He's good. Offensively, he's very good. The one thing, if people want to criticize him about, when he's going like he is now or going into the playoffs last year, and he really did a lot to get you guys there towards the end there, it felt like. The batting average is something that you can be a little concerned about. Dating back to 2019, I know he actually, to be honest with you, he doesn't miss any games. He missed 3 games in 20, the COVID year. And the lowest amount of games played was 152 in 21, which was actually the shortened season, wasn't it? So he plays just about 155 to 160 games a year. Batting average 260, 231, 262, 271, All-Star, 8th and MVP, and led the league in RBIs in 2022. Then, torpedoed to 217, 240, and now he's batting 343 to start the year. So that's something that I can understand people being concerned about and thinking that he may not age well the way that we're seeing, Giancarlo Stanton, although that's mostly injuries, or Crush Davis, or Ryan Howard, or some of the other, Josh Hamilton, some of the other bigger power hitters of the 21st century. But I don't think it's exactly fair to him because, one, he means a lot to the Mets fan base. I've spoken about it on here plenty of times. I've spoken about it in some of the other programs I've been on. The Mets have only really had one homegrown career Met that was like a star amongst the league. Ed Kranepool was a good player for Met fans, but he wasn't viewed as a superstar or a star player in the league the way David Wright was. And the Mets having that guy in Pete Alonso, I think, is important, and why they should extend him, because he backs it up. He warrants, a 5 for 125 deal. I think the Blue Jays significantly overvalued Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but they couldn't risk him walking. And that's why they overpaid him. I mean, $500 million for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is nuts. And I don't think anybody would say he's not. They're not for that. But I think Pete Alonso getting like $200 million, I think that's too much. I mean, he's already at age 30. By the start of next season, he'll be 31. Not saying that he can't be good, in 5 or 6 years. But I am saying that is pretty atypical for what we would normally see from most players, even with all the advancements in sports medicine and whatnot we've seen over the years. One thing I do have to say, his postseason stats are pretty good. 278 in the postseason for his career, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, 2 stolen bases for a big kahuna. We like that. 14 walks and only, striking out 19 times against some of the best players the league has to offer. Good postseason player. Good start to the season. I would imagine, gun to my head, he's probably amongst leaders for MVP right now. It's early to be talking about that. We're not even,
Right.
A fourth of the way through the season. But yeah, I hope they extend him. And I think if I was the Mets, I would be starting to talk about a long-term extension. But I think that 5 for 125 is the best option.
We shall see. What am I going to say? I'm texting Cooper that I want my Brandon Nimmo jersey.
Good luck with it.
He definitely saw me last night, Nimmo. I was like, "Yo, Nimmo." He nodded. You saw that, right?
I did see it, but I don't know. I'm surprised you still. Oh, whatever.
What? Wait, no. Say it. Go ahead.
I'm surprised you still do this. You still try to get the attention of the players.
It's the sports fan in me, especially it's the inner child from.
That's what it is.
Yeah, no,
Makes sense.
But then no, I mean, there comes, like Todd Frazier. I talked to Todd. Well, I mean, I was like, "Yo, what's up, Todd?" He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" Like, I
Todd
talk,
Frazier.
yeah, I talked to him. Well, like, I remember he was like by the gate, like some players go by the gate to sign autographs for the kids. So it's right where we were sitting. And then I remember,
do you want to lead us into the next segment or whatnot? Just while I go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. So I just remember talking about like I said, and that's where we're sitting. So sometimes like I said, it's the inner child in me trying to get the players' attention. I'm a sports nerd. I love sports. So anytime I get to meet an athlete, I'm like, hey. So Todd Frazier, I remember Todd Frazier was right there. I was like, hey, what's up, Todd? I was like, hey, how you doing? I remember Gary Sheffield when I saw Doc Gooden retire. I remember I saw Gary Sheffield. He was walking down into the tunnel. I was like, hey, let's go Mets. He's like, hey. He was a Yankee, but he did play his last years as a Met. So I can look up his stats too. But no, I know the Yankees right now doing good. So hey, good for them. Judge is still electric. I know Justin Fields was at the game last night. A lot to talk about in terms of the NHL. Talking about Ovechkin's goal. It's crazy we haven't really dived into that. I bought a ticket stub that was like, verifying where I was sitting, where I was at that game. Still waiting for that to come in the mail. I think it's going to come soon. As I actually did reach out to the Islanders support. I'm like, hey, I'd like to get my ticket or else I'm going to get my money back. And they're like, hey, we're just, verifying like this deadline, April 17th. And so hopefully it should come in the mail as soon as possible. And then, or else I was going to have to get my money back because, like I said, money's kind of been a little bit on the budget lately. But yeah, no, it's just been great watching the MLB season. I'm, happy with that. I know the NBA is going to be spin off with Ovechkin's goal. That was great. Definitely one of the best moments of my life watching that. A lot of people were telling us to sell, and we just weren't doing that. We wanted to go watch history. Very thankful for that. Like I said, we just wanted to go watch history. I don't regret that. And like I said, money comes, but at the same time, like moments like that don't come. Like they don't come back again. Life is, you want to try to experience as much as you can, especially in the sports world. That was something, I'm glad Dennis got to share with me. We wanted to experience, and I'm thankful for that. And so, like I said, it was great watching Gretzky in person. It was great watching that moment in front of me. I didn't think he was going to actually do it, but the fact that he did it, a ton of Capitals fans. It didn't feel like a Islander game. It felt like a playoff atmosphere, the atmosphere definitely felt different. But like I said, it was cool to watch Gretzky in front of me, one of the best players. My dad's actually met him, and he actually has his autograph downstairs, which is pretty cool. Um, and then what else? So that was cool to watch. It's cool to watch, and then obviously the Islanders won, so that was good. That was good for that, watching history. But no, I don't regret going to the game at all. Like I say, money comes, but opportunities like that don't come every once in a while. I was saying, Dennis, to the viewers, that with the Ovechkin goal, like I said, I don't regret going to the game because people saying you got to sell it. Sure, I could have sold it, but like I said, money comes. But like I said, moments like that don't come ever again. It's like when, in the spirit of the moment. So when you have moments like that, you try to catch that. So I have no regrets about selling that, about not selling the ticket. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I remember we were saying last week we were talking about the Ovechkin goal and how we were there for it. I agree. No regrets. I made that clear. So, but yeah, NBA playoffs.
Yes, I'm excited for the Knicks and Pistons matchup.
These are
I think,
tickets I'm not going to sell. If you get playoff tickets right in your lap, you can't sell those either. You got to go.
oh, definitely. I've never been to a Knicks playoff game. I've been to one Knicks game in my life, and that was recently. That was an expensive game to go to, but that's definitely worth like the money that I spent. Great game I went to. They destroyed the Raptors, one of their division team opponents. Um, but I can imagine the tickets. The tickets now that it's definitely for that price. It's expensive to go to any game at the Garden. But no, it's definitely going to be interesting. I think the Pistons are a team that the Knicks don't really play as much, especially in these type of scenarios. They played the Hawks, played the Pacers, played the Sixers. I like this is like a new interesting matchup, and I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting. The NBA playoffs are going to be great. They're going to be insane this year. We got Luka and LeBron on the same team. I feel like so far it's been decent. You can tell me otherwise. Really?
Dude, it's been like a race between paint drying and grass growing every game except the Warriors and Grizzlies. Bulls Heat sucked. Mavericks Kings was a crime against basketball. And who are the other jabronis that played? Oh, Magic and Hawks. Trae Young quit in the middle of the game. He got ejected. He literally got himself ejected intentionally. Horrible, horrible, horrible playing. It's also horrible because your boy lost his money on it.
Right.
No, not Denny. So I should have won some of them too. I'm mad, bro.
Right.
I'm mad, Bob. Play in tourney. Well, I feel like I'm chewing tobacco right now, but just a big thing of freaking jelly beans in my mouth.
Hey, that's not bad.
Oh,
But I mean, you're not. I mean, it's definitely going
tickets
to
are
be
actually cheaper to the Knicks than you think. I'm not going because my bank account right now is still waiting on that Uncle Cham check. That Uncle Sam check. Dennis English, speak it well. I'm waiting on that Uncle Sam check. But if I had that already, I'd be there. Detroit basketball. That'd be me. That'd be me in a Richard Hamilton jersey and a mask. Phantom.
Yeah.
Big Richard Hamilton guy. You know that.
I do.
Yeah, no, these tickets are nuts, dude. $800, $900, $1 billion for seats.
That's ludicrous. Really?
I don't see
I
$1
mean,
billion seats. No, I'm
but
kidding.
tell me
But
though about the playoff,
everything else.
the play-in tournament.
All
I
right.
know.
There could only be two that move on to the playoffs as there are 4 teams per conference that are stuck in this limbo, purgatory, basketball purgatory of the play-in. 7 and 8 seed, they play. And there can only be one of them that gets the 7th seed. The winner gets the 7th seed. 9 and 10, they duke it out. try to get that a chance to stay in the game. Whoever loses is eliminated in that 9-10 game. And
Oh,
then
yeah, mercy.
the loser of the 7-8 and the winner of the 9-10 play each other, and that is your 8 seed. So our 7 seeds are set. We have them, Brandon.
We
We
have
got them. We
we
got
got
them.
him.
We got them. Hey, we got them. 7
Yeah.
seed long sport is your Golden State Warriors. Now, did they get it perhaps a little fugazi? Was the officiating bad for 3/4 and 8 minutes? And then the refs were like, oh, yeah, I forgot that the Grizzlies are a team here. Maybe.
God, it's definitely.
Perhaps.
I'm looking at tickets like you're telling me, and
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And they are your 7-seeded Golden State Warriors taking on your 2-seeded Houston Rockets. Now, for the East, hit the music. Orlando Magic. Whoa. Beat the brakes off the Atlanta Hawks. It was an old school beatdown. It was a beatdown. It was like, like when the kid in the movie is picking on like one of the characters, and then like that the character's like older brother shows up and just beats the brakes off the bully and like shows him like what's what. There's always a bigger fish in the sea.
right.
That's how it was. The Magic from jump, the Magic were not just a better team, embarrassingly a better team. Now, perhaps some people would say, Dennis, I think you're being a little too harsh to the Atlanta Hawks. But their star player literally quit in the middle of the game and rage quit. So what am I supposed to say? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Right. What do you want to? Yeah.
What do you want me to say? What are we doing here? That was a Wednesday game, yeah? Nope. Tuesday game. That game, the final score was 120-95. Trae Young, despite his temper tantrum, finished. He actually did pretty good. 40 minutes of game time. So I actually played a lot longer than I thought he did. 28 minutes, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers, minus 22 from plus minus 1 for 5 from 3. Just wasn't getting anything going. And the Magic, dude, death by 1,000 cuts off the bench. Cole Anthony, 26 points. Anthony Black, 16 points. So the attack of the ants.
Yeah.
And then you had Paolo Banchero, only 17, 9, and 7 for him, which is really good. Don't get me wrong, but you'd have expected more. 13 boards for Franz Wagner and 13 points. Wendell Carter Jr., 19 points. So Orlando Magic, starters to bench, they were just rocking with it. And that's what happened, man. The Hawks, they just couldn't get it going, man. Onyeka Okongwu, usually a tremendous rebounder. He had 9, which is pretty good. But, I mean, when Franz Wagner is walking away with 13, Paolo Banchero is walking away with 9, Jonathan Isaac is walking away with 8. You would expect a little more. I guess on the IR for the Hawks at this point, say with me, kids, Clint Capella won't play in Friday's playing game versus the Heat. Brad Rowland of the Locked Out on Podcast Network reports. So we'll see about that. Clint Capella, very good center, one of my favorite centers in the league, and tremendous rebounder in his own right. They're going to have to be careful here, the Hawks, because the Heat, they are no joke. They lost their 11th pick by playing in the by winning the play-in against the Bulls. But the Bulls, I mean, they were selling the Bulls. They were horrible. As bad as I'm beating up on the Hawks, the worst team of the play-in so far, Kings included, was the Bulls. I mean, nobody told them that this was a do-or-die game. You could just tell. They're checked out. And I say that because if Josh Giddey just got 4 more assists, I would have won $35. Holla. You can use that.
Holla, holla.
Holla, holla, player.
But did you? So I guess the play-in tournament has kind of had a big effect on. When did they start this?
COVID, 2020. It is fun, but like sometimes you're gonna get teams that are just bad, like the Bulls. Like they were really good when Lonzo Ball was on the team earlier this year. Then he got hurt again. That poor guy, man. Oh,
Mm.
I feel horrible for him. But you're going to have teams that are not good teams. It's going to happen. This is kind of giving credence to people saying that there should be no more conferences. But I kind of disagree, to be honest with you. Yeah, Lonzo Ball, he had all his leg issues. He comes back. He looks great. Nobody thought he'd ever play again. He looks fantastic. Now he has hand surgery. Ugh. But he's supposedly he's on a normal timeline to come back at a regular start time. So
Okay.
hopefully he's back and better than ever. But poor guy. And since that happened, like they lost a lot of defense with that, and it showed in the game against the Heat. They couldn't guard anybody. The Heat were, just shooting them out of the building, which I don't think a lot of people expected. I don't think anybody expected the Bulls to be a frisky, like, oh, they can upset team. No, of course not. But for them to, Brandon, they were laughed out of their own building. Now, that doesn't mean that the Kings did any better because they're going up against guys on the Mavericks that I've never even heard of. I think one of them was pushing shopping carts at my Target the other day. In fact, I think he was still wearing a Target name tag during the game, but that's beside the point. Can you tell that I was rooting for the Kings to go far since my Suns got eliminated? Big Domantas Sabonis guy.
Yes.
And he played like garbage too, but they would just swarm him. Your team can't shoot threes. Your team can't shoot threes. So if we throw everybody and their mother at Domantas Sabonis, who's he going to pass it to? What? So DeMar DeRozan could dribble in 5 feet and take a mid-range jump shot? Oh, brick. So maybe DeMar DeRozan should have brought his daughter to the game so she could scream. Do you remember that a couple years ago against the Raptors?
I do.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. The siren of Sacramento.
But all right.
So tonight it's going to be Grizzlies versus the Mavericks, and it's going to be the Heat versus the Hawks. Heat should win by like 10. That team looked checked out. The Hawks. So aside from the Knicks, who are you rooting for in the playoffs?
Golden State's in it, right? Or they
are in it. You're gonna root for Golden State.
There's no really particular team in particular that I'm rooting for. Just Knicks straight up.
Okay. All right.
Let's say all right. I do get a bounce, so I think is there anything else you want to talk about before we? I would say let's bring up Rodgers, but we already talked about him enough. But I do got
to. Aaron Rodgers whined again, and nobody cared.
I don't know.
Nobody of importance cared.
The thing. Well, we'll talk about it real quick. I don't know. I get being mad that I think I don't know what he's more mad about that he had to spend his money, or that it was his time being wasted. Like that he had to spend money on to come over to Florham Park to be told like, hey, we're gonna let you go. Here's the pink slip, you're fired or released. Like, wouldn't you ever? I feel like people would criticize the Jets if they didn't do it in person. Than if they did it on like FaceTime or camera, because people would have said they didn't want to, they don't want to be face to face with him, and so the fact that they did it in person, that shows a lot about Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji not giving an AF and being professional as they can be, like doing it in person than over the phone. I get it, hey, you have to fly across the country. I wish I could take a trip right now and fly across the country, vacation, so. I get it, but at the same time, like in terms of the money, like, hey, you paid that really shouldn't matter or care. You know how much money Aaron Rodgers has? Like, come on. And like I said, I feel like the Jets would have been more criticized if they didn't do it face to face and they did it over Zoom or like Skype. I don't even know if Skype is still around. And people are now giving the Jets, giving the Jets more credit because now that they're not letting him not take advantage, but they're not, playing up to his game. They're not like. I don't feel bad for the Steelers because they like to compare the Jets to the Steelers sometimes. They like to compare them, So I give credit to the Giants. The Giants, they said, screw it. We don't want to wait. They signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And, now the Giants are all caught up in this. So I feel bad. I do feel bad a little bit for the Steelers because this is not what they should be doing. They should be worried about drafting a quarterback. If I'm them, but that's a whole nother conversation. They should trade up for quarterback, if anything. Like, I could see Shador Sanders being a fit, maybe Jackson Dart, but like I said, you gotta mentor and develop these guys. But no, like I said, I think it's this Aaron Rodgers scenario. I'm glad the Jets were didn't want to waste their time and they let him go, because now you see what it's like getting into the Aaron Rodgers cycle. We've seen it for 2 years. You've seen it. So now Aaron Glenn and Darren Mucci came in. They're like, nope, we don't want this anymore. We're not dealing with it. And now he's being other people's problems, meaning the Steelers. So I think it's a little bit unprofessional that he came out and kind of said what he's been saying about Aaron Glenn and about the regime. I think it's a little bit unprofessional. Are we surprised by it, though, Dennis? No. What are your thoughts on it?
Dude, get a new hobby. Get into crocheting or something. Maybe go to a park, play some dominoes with the old guys. Come on. What are we doing? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of everything. I was like, man, I had to go all the way out here just to be told I'm fired. It's like, yeah, and if they gave him a phone call, then you're right. People will be whining about that too. Whines
100%.
and whines and whines. Some people are just miserable people. It's become the miserable old man of the NFL.
Right.
Dude, just get over it. Get over yourselves.
No, honestly, and a lot of people are kind of seeing it. I don't know. I've defended Rodgers for a long time. I can't defend him now like this. I can't. He's making it really hard now. So it's just like, come on.
He's such a prima donna. He is such a prima donna.
He should have retired before coming to the Jets. He didn't need to play. I don't know what if he won another Super Bowl, I don't think he would have been playing.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he has to prove. He has a ring. What else you got to prove? He has all these records, all these accolades. I don't know. He's going to play for the Steelers.
Or you know what it is? I think the biggest reason why he wants to win another ring is sometimes it's just a blur, man. I mean, that happened so long ago that I almost kind of forget who they even played. It was the Steelers, right? I think.
What's that?
They played the Steelers when he won that ring?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot who they played for a second. It was that far ago. We won it when we were in what? 6th grade? Fifth grade?
5th grade, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of understand that. I mean, I'm in grad school now. I'm turning 25 in a couple months, man.
Yeah.
So I can understand wanting to win another one, especially one that you can vividly remember this point in your career when you really understand how much it takes to get there. I understand that drive, that determination. What I don't understand is constantly saying we need no distractions and then just constantly being the distraction. It's the unprofessionalism, in my opinion, that aggravates me with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's not an unpopular opinion, quite frankly. I think a lot of people, Jets fans particularly, a lot of neutral fans they just don't care about Aaron Rodgers anymore. I think the only people who do care are the TV shows. I think regular football fans have checked him out. They've zoned out on him. They don't care anymore.
Right.
And it's kind of sad that he just doesn't. I don't know.
But
it doesn't seem to get that. Dude,
it amazes me that
not
they
all
still
about you.
I agree. It's amazing they still talk about him as much as they do.
I guess maybe he would have preferred if they went to him to tell him he got cut.
I think it's just, I don't know.
They get fired in your own house. I mean, what? That's not fun. That's happened to me before.
I think because it didn't go his way, and he's being a prima donna.
Yeah, actually, I got fired over text message twice. So
it's good. It's good that he. It's good that, like I said, they're not playing his it's their way. It's their way or the highway. That's how it should be.
They're the team. You're the player.
Yeah, I like what Aaron Glenn said. And it kind of showed in his introductory press conference. this is one player is not a team. We are players of the team. Like everybody, it's a 53-man rosters. He basically was saying Rodgers right there and then. If that didn't scream, yeah, Rodgers is not staying, then I don't know what did. It amazed me people were like upset about it. There was one Jet account I follow who was like miserable that they were letting him go. He kept posting about him nonstop, like he won us like 8 rings, like he was here, and like it got to a point where people in the comment section were actually saying like, "Hey, like, all right, we get it. Like, stop dragging it. Like, stop dragging this. Like, you don't know how much of a moron you sound." And I love the guy. I'm not trying to shame or hate on him, but like it was just it was just annoying because like, dude, he didn't do it. Like, but then people were starting to wake up. They're like, "Oh yeah, he didn't really do anything for us." Did it suck? It just sucks because it was supposed to be great and it wasn't. It didn't work out. But what are you gonna do? You got to move on. But listen, I do got to get going, so um, I
All
think we'll
right.
stop. But thank you to everybody for listening to Sports Shack. My name is Brandon
Ha-
G. Natali.
Happy Easter.
Happy
Happy
Easter, everybody.
Passover.
Don't eat meat today because it's Friday.
Yeah,
Well,
if you celebrate.
if you celebrate. Happy Easter, everybody. And yes, um, God is good. Thank you, Jesus. And yes, have a great day, everybody.